everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the Knit Chat Cafe. And before we get into anything again, we're just going to say, can everybody see us and hear us? So if just someone would let us know just before we get into everything. In the meantime, I'm Noelle.
I'm Kelly.
And we are Knits and Pieces, knitting podcast, mostly knitting podcast. We do some other things too. And we are coming to you from Southwestern Ontario in Canada on a beautiful, perfect weather Tuesday. I know somebody said last week that they missed the weather report. So today there's absolutely no complaints about the weather. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous day here.
Absolutely.
So it wasn't too hot. There's no humidity. It was mostly sunny for the whole day. So perfect weather. Not like I know a lot of people have been having a lot of storms, and we actually did even when we were away.
We did.
Like, quite a bad storm. So
there were people displaced from the airport in Chicago this weekend.
Yep. Yeah. So we hope that wherever you are, that your weather conditions are, if they have been rotten, that they're getting better. Like realistically, we complain sometimes, but where we are, we've been actually relatively lucky. Like we seem to be, not in the way of hurricanes or flooding, or, that we did have some trees down, but for the most part, I think we're fairly lucky. So like some other places have just been hit terribly this year. So anyway.
Okay.
Okay. So did we say we were a knitting podcast? Yes. This is my brain is still addled from the weekend. So we were away this past weekend in Chicago, and we got back. Well, we got back yesterday, actually, really early in the morning yesterday.
Yes.
So,
I think I crawled into bed at 2:30 in the morning when I crawled into bed. So yeah, it was very late.
I got into bed probably about 1:30, but I couldn't get to sleep. I think I was just couldn't get to sleep. And then yesterday morning, I made my first coffee. I haven't had to make coffee all weekend. And I have an espresso machine. I forgot to put the cup under it. So I had that mess to clean up starting in the morning. And I walked away from it. I didn't stand there and watch it. So it was the whole thing all over. But anyway, so hopefully my brain's getting back to normal. But we had an amazing, wonderful weekend. And I see some of you in here who were with us on the weekend, and that was so lovely to see everybody.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
This time we felt a little bit more relaxed going, a little bit more excited because we knew a lot of the people that we were going to see. Whereas last year it was totally, I don't think we knew anybody last year. Like we'd talked to people online, but we'd not ever really met anybody. So it was very nice to go and know that there were people there that you already knew. And it was a great turnout.
It really was. It really was. I don't know. Okay. First, I'm just going to say, don't come here expecting photos tonight, because I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I took this many pictures. Zero footage, zero pictures, not even the pictures like of the people that we love hanging out with. I do know that some pictures were taken and some will be sent to me and possibly I can share it. But I think, and I don't do this very often, but I just wanted to be completely in the moment.
Yeah.
So
I
posted nothing to socials.
No, I didn't even look at social media. Like I did not look at, I wasn't on social media, didn't look at social media. You were just always in the moment. I think I talked to my husband once for about 2 minutes. That's it.
Yes.
Of course he already knew I was there safe, because I always get this every time I go. He always goes, yeah, I saw the credit card trail.
Yes. He knew where you were.
So he knew I was safe, but literally I talked to him for 2 minutes.
But we had absolutely, hands down, an amazing time. We will tell you more about it throughout the evening tonight. We've got some goodies to show off. We have lots of cast-ons to talk about. And for myself, I would like to say that I got a ton of knitting done, but I got way more talking done than knitting, as per usual. And I find, especially with a newer project where you have to pay attention to a pattern, if I'm able to talk, and I was just, I don't know, again, I was so swept away by just the joy of chatting with people that I was a whole lot less concerned about my knitting. But I did get lots done. But
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
cast on a project that I had absolutely no intention of knitting before I got there.
Oh, me too. Yeah, absolutely. So
So, yeah, so it was,
we had
it
a
was
great
a
time.
very good time. So, yeah.
Very good
And
time.
I mean, this weekend, this was the Frivolous and Frugal 3-ply podcast mini meetup, and basically all it was just knitting, and there was no schedule that you needed to adhere to. There was no you just basically you came and sat and you knit and you could move around and talk to different people. If you wanted to go out, you could go out. If you didn't want to, you didn't have to. We even the one night it was the Saturday night and it was absolutely gorgeous out later in the day, and we actually sat outside with a good group of people knitting, and it just was wonderful. So, and you know what, you don't miss having the like all the vendors and stuff around, like when you go to a big show, and a lot of times
Oh,
at a big
we
show.
found vendors.
Oh, we found vendors, but I mean,
We
like,
found
it's not
places to buy.
like a big show where it's all about the vending and the classes and not so much about the just getting together and talking to other knitters.
Right.
So, and that this was basically just getting together and talking with like-minded friends. So
Absolutely.
it was lovely.
Absolutely.
And I have to say like a thank you to Dawn and Penny from Frivolous and Frugal, and a thank you to Irene and Joyce and Angie from 3-ply podcast, because it was amazing.
It
So,
was.
and I
It
hope they
was.
continue to do it for years and years to come.
I hope so. And maybe next time we'll take more pictures. I don't know. Maybe we won't. You know what?
You just,
It was
like,
so
I feel like
wonderful.
exactly like you did. We're just in the moment, and I don't want to take time to say, oh, can I take a picture? Can I do this? Like, so, and I mean, I'm a lot like that anyway. I don't think about taking
No.
pictures, even, you know, like I have to be, when I go somewhere, Kelly will say, now, Noelle, when you go into the yarn store, take some video. And I'm like, yeah. I'll try
Yes.
and remember. So anyway, welcome everybody tonight. Welcome
I
to
have
the
to
Knit
duck out.
Chat
I have to duck out
Cafe.
for like 10 seconds here. So you keep chatting. I'll be right back.
Okay. Welcome to the Knit Chat Cafe. We're glad to see so many people that join us week after week. And for anybody new, welcome. This is just our Tuesday evening informal get together where we go through and Kelly and I tell you a little bit about what we've worked on, whether we finished anything, you know, all the kind of little knitting things that we get up to. And we encourage you, if you've got questions, put them in the comments. If we don't see it, put it in again. If you really have something important that you want answered, you could actually email us at our Gmail, which is knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com. And that gets checked regularly. It didn't this past weekend, but it does get checked regularly. And if you've got a question in there, we will bring it up on the podcast and address it.
Yes.
So, yeah. So I guess we should. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to say is in the chat, there are lots of people chatting in here, and our names are wrong.
No. I know. I have. Okay. Just you sit tight. I have to pop you out and then pop me back in. There we go.
There we go. Okay.
I noticed
I'm like,
it, but
wait a minute. I'm not Kelly.
No, I didn't want to cut you out while you were midstream talking. So there we go.
Okay.
We're
Anyway,
all set now.
If there's something that you want to know too, if you ask something in the chat, there are lots of people in here with a wealth of information that will be glad to help you if they know the answer to something. And lots of people in here that know way more than we do. So
yes,
so don't be shy. If you're near a keyboard and you want to type something in, go for it. So
yes, absolutely.
Okay. Where do you want to start? Well, now that I talked about asking questions, we should maybe start with a couple of the questions or a couple of the comments that I had from last week. Okay, so the first one was, and I'm sure other people have experienced this, but when you're doing a shawl and you've got like you've got a straight edge across the top, and you know how when you've got that edge, it doesn't quite have the same stretch as some of the ones down the side. So someone had asked what you do. Well, what I do is I do my first stitch, then I do a yarn over. Okay. Yes. And then when I come back across that row, I just drop that yarn over, and that gives that edge stitch like kind of a double amount of yarn. So you're doing the yarn over, but you're not ever going to knit it. When you get back to it, you are going to just drop it off the needle to elongate that edge stitch, just so that you've got more space to stretch out that edge when you go to block your shawl. I don't know what anybody else does. I found that that works relatively well. It's especially important when you're using a yarn that's got a lot of plant fiber in it that doesn't have a lot of stretch. But yeah, does anybody have any other ideas on what you might do for that? like, what do you do, Kelly? Do you?
I've done that. There are, well, I guess that's on the straight edge, isn't it? It's not on the bind off edge.
No, because you can do a loose bind off, but it's just that edge kind of when you're increasing, when you've got like, it can be a shawl with just like, what do you call it when it's not even?
Asymmetrical.
Asymmetrical. When it's asymmetrical and you've got that one edge where you're like, it seems like that edge increases as you go along. But if you don't do something to kind of give stretch to that edge, you may find it difficult to stretch out when you go to block the shawl. So I do find that was suggested a long time ago. I think the first time I ever did that was when I was doing Color Affection by Vera Valimaki. And I was doing it in a cotton linen yarn. So there was no stretch in the yarn.
No give.
And I really needed to do that in order for that edge to stretch enough when I blocked it. So, okay. So that was the first comment. And then another one was, we were talking about, it seems like we're always talking about ranunculi. And so, that ranunculus, I had said that I've done my last couple where I put in a sleeve because I didn't like the straight cast off edge. So we did have a comment from a viewer that said that what they do is they do that cast off edge, but then they go back and they do a single crochet right along that edge and like skip every 4th stitch. And that just kind of pulls it in and stops it from flaring up. So I think that's a really good idea. And it'll just give you a little finished edge all around and underneath the arm as well. So I thought that was a good idea. So I might even go back and try that on some of the ones that I've done the edge and I think they're too big. So I might go back and try that. So.
Okay. I don't think I had any questions that were directed at me. There might have been one, but I don't think I marked it down. I'm sorry.
Okay. Next week.
Kelly,
homework. Check that out.
Hey, I came home with homework, okay? And I haven't responded to my
I did mine.
I know, I saw you did, because you're such a front of the classroom little keener. I know that, but hey, I'm the delinquent at the back of the class. Sorry, Irene, I will get to you tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, I have a comment here about putting the tip in for the yarn over. I will do that. I will put that in the show notes, or either the show notes or underneath the video, one or the other. So, okay. So, do we have
I got back to Becky. Yeah, see?
There you go.
I got back to somebody.
That was from last week.
Yeah, but I got back to her last week. I know. I'm sorry. I will try to do better.
Anyway, do we have admin? Yes, we do, because we have prizes.
We have prizes.
we do. Okay.
I feel sorry for anybody who's tuned in here for the first time tonight. You are getting us not at our best for sure. We are my table here, I should have just showed you like a picture of the table and everything that's piled up here behind me. This is utter chaos. What I had to excuse myself for was to get the prizes that we're about to announce because I forgot to pull some out. So, okay.
So it was the end of the month yesterday. Hard to believe we're at the end of July. Like, how did that happen? Like, we're at the 1st of August. I was watching something this morning and they're like, only so many days till Christmas. I'm like, what?
Well, I have to say, when I dropped you off, wee hours of the early morning, when I pulled into my driveway and I got out of the car, there was like dew all over the cars, but it wasn't like warm weather dew. It was that cold weather dew that you start to feel in September, like more towards the end of August. And I thought to myself, because it was almost a full moon that night, and I thought to myself, you know what? Our summer days are on a countdown now. Like, you could smell it coming in the air, but anyway, okay. So we, I had some stats. So I did do some homework. I marked something down today. Ravelry stats. Here's where we're at, friends. Socks for the year so far, by the end of July, 1,770 pairs. Wow. That's a lot of sock knitting.
And we know they're not mine this year.
No, we know they're not yours. Smash that stash. We are at 2,456 items in Smash Your Stash.
That's awesome.
Dare I say we could hit 5,000 finished items by the end of the year? Wow. And that is a huge dent in somebody's stash. It has to be.
Not ours.
Has to be. Not ours. The Marie Wallen, Susan Crawford Makealong. It's not clicking along as quick as some of the others, but they're also time-consuming projects. And you have until December 31st.
That's right. And it's not everybody's, that's not everybody's cup of tea. Like, and
absolutely,
I totally agree. You should knit what you want to knit.
But there were 9 finished objects in there already.
Oh, that's good. Good.
So I'm happy to see that. And then the last stat that I'm going to share with you tonight is that in our little group of members, there are 1,457 members in there,
wow.
which I think is a pretty happy little knitting community.
Yep.
So, yep. All right. So for the end of July, we had, at the end of every month, we draw from our sock pool and we go all the way back, including the number from the very first pair entered at the beginning of the year. Oh no, don't start thinking about the yawns, Kelly. I just quit thinking. Okay. And then right up until the end of each month. And we draw for 2 prizes. And we, the first prize is a pattern prize, which is generously donated by our friend Natalie, who is Remembrances Pottery and Patterns. Like, I know that when we say Remembrances Pottery, you think she's a potter and only a potter, but no, she is an amazing pattern writer as well. And her particular special interest is color work, and she loves the holidays, dare I say. So she has quite a few seasonal projects in there, and some socks that I'm working on that I could show tonight as well for my year-long Advent socks. So we do a sock prize for a pattern, and then we do a sock prize for yarn. So we'll do the pattern first.
Okay, I'll bring it up.
And as I said, there were 1,770 pairs. And this month's pattern winner is Kim, which is Auntie Kimmy on Ravelry. And the random number generator chose 998. And I love her rainbow socks.
Yeah,
she's got the label in there. They say silly socks, but they're really pretty. And they're rib socks, so you know they're going to be a really great fit. So congratulations, Kim. You have won a pattern from Natalie. And then moving on to the yarn prize, which I'll show after the winner. So the winner for the yarn prize is Mama Jess Knits, otherwise known as Jess. And I'm trying to remember now, there was a really clever name for those socks. And I think, was it Red, Blue, Bam? Red and Blue and Pow, or Red and Blue and Bam? Anyway, they sort of look like fireworks.
Superhero.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And those are very pretty socks. So, and that was number 1391. So the yarn that we're going to give away this month, I pulled out a beachy color because we are into the peak beach month here in Ontario. And our gift today is from Rose Hill Yarns. And that's just like super beachy. It's called Sea Glass, or Sea Foam and Sea Glass. The mini is a gorgeous neutral, and I love this. This is exactly the color of Sea Glass. There's some really pretty pops of color in there. So this is a mini skein or half skein set. So you get 50 grams of the main color and 20 grams of the mini. So congratulations to our winners. If you can be so kind to reach out to us at knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com. We can share with you a code for the pattern. And if you send your full name and address for the yarn, then I will pop that in the mail to you.
So congratulations to our winners, and for everybody else, remember, keep getting your socks in there because we actually go back right to the beginning of the year. So any pair that you get in now actually has until the end of this year to win a prize. So, okay. So someone did suggest that we didn't talk about what we were wearing.
Yet.
Yes, we're going to. I don't think we'll go through the knit-alongs a little later. I don't think there was anything else as far as admin, was there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. So, Kelly, what are you wearing?
I am wearing my newly finished Willa tee, which is hiding behind my hair. There's not a lot of pattern to this one. It was very simple. I do have a picture.
Okay, did you put a banner in?
I believe there's a banner left over. Yes.
There is.
So It is a very simple sweater, but it's one that I'm quite happy with. I made this one a little bit longer, so I was planning to make it a crop, but I had the yarn, so I decided to go longer. So this one is actually something I could wear with a pair of jeans by my clothing rules and nobody else's. And I am super happy with how it turned out. This was using the Loving Path yarn in her Merlin base, which is 90% merino, 10% linen, and the color is Spruce Lee, which I think is kind of cute too.
That's pretty.
It worked up really quick, and it does have some beautiful variation because you get these little sort of linen neps in there, the little, so it does look rather heathered. And some of them are like little hairs too that you kind of feel the need to pull out, but don't pull them out. And I really like it. It's just a beautiful summer sweater. It's nice. It's lightweight. You can wear it in a fair degree of warmth and not feel overheated in it. Today's my first day wearing it though, and today is a perfect day. So yeah.
Okay.
And you?
I am wearing the Amethyst summer top. I need to find the banner for this because I can't. Oh, there we go. Amethyst summer top by Carrie Ann Holjames Skirmer. This is the pattern that I bought that was totally in Norwegian, and I put it into Google Translate. For the top here, there was chart, so the chart was easy enough to follow. It wasn't too bad doing it with the translation. I did have to go and look at another similar pattern that had that kind of shaping at the top, but mostly because I tried it the way the pattern said, and I just didn't like the way the increases lay. So I tried a different method and that worked better, or I liked it better. This is done in Malabrigo Cicero. I don't know if you say Cicero or Cicero. I think Isabel said it meant whisper.
Oh, anyway, really?
Yeah. But I don't know if that's does. And it's a beautiful yarn. Kelly's knit with it as well. And the Cicero is a blend of where I've got it here because we might have gotten more. It is 50% mulberry silk, 25% merino wool, and 25% linen. And it's a sport to a DK weight, so that it's pretty versatile as far as what you can knit it up into. I did size 2 in this pattern, and you saw by the photo, like it's not cropped. It does come like below my hip bone, and I used 1.6 skeins. But I know you used it in your
cravat,
and you used almost a full 2 skeins.
I did. But
that does have more pattern in here, and it does have a little bit of bobbles. So I think the yardage in it, I think is like 325. We'll get to that when we show it, but it's a beautiful yarn to work with. It's a beautiful yarn to wear. It blocked it nice. The only thing I'd be cautious of is if you put color work in it. It like this, I have washed it twice now because your summer tops seem to need to get washed more because they get sweatier. So I have washed it a couple of times, and even the second time I did still have dye coming out of it because the colors are quite rich. So, and I think especially like these purples, I know purple is a particularly notorious color for bleeding. So,
and mine is a purple blue. I spray blocked it. I didn't soak it because I got nervous. Even with color blockers, which I have, I got a little bit nervous about it. Clearly I'm going to have to get over that fear because it will need to be washed.
Yeah.
At some point. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Bruna commented that she loves linen mix yarns. And I totally agree with you, Bruna. Like, I don't like knitting with pure linen. I mean, I love a pure linen top. I just don't like the feeling of knitting with a pure linen, but like this was a perfect blend with the silk and the merino and the linen, and even the one you're wearing, because I've worked with that yarn too, with a little bit of linen and the merino. So it seems like if you get that linen in there blended with something, it makes it a lot easier to work with than just a straight pure linen, because a straight pure linen just feels really rough in your hands.
Really rough. But then when it's done,
I
Like when the
know.
project is done, it's amazing. Because I had that sweater with me on the weekend in Chicago, my linen sweater. And it's not even full linen, but it's a linen blend, but it has a fair bit of linen in it. And I did not enjoy the process of working on it. I'm not going to lie, but it's one of my favorite sweaters. I love the way that sweater drapes. It drapes like actual fabric. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah. And Isabel said, yes, that Cicero does mean whisper.
Okay.
I have to talk like this.
Good luck with that. And
anyway,
I will note that we may not match tonight, but we definitely have complementary
jewel tones.
Jewel tones. Yes, yes, yes.
We have to tell them, even the very first night in the hotel room, like, believe it or not, we both get our pajamas on. We both have navy blue shorty pajamas.
I don't know how we do it. I don't know how we do
either,
it.
But anyway.
But
okay. So that's what we're wearing. So now we'll move on to finished objects. So did you finish anything?
Yes, sort of.
Okay.
Okay. I just realized when I looked at it again today, I made a mistake. So it has to come back out. I don't know what I did, but I've been working on, I'll put this on a little sock blocker so everybody can see it. I've been working on the socks, Natalie's socks, the Merry and Bright socks.
Merry and Bright.
And I am in, so I have, these were done for July. And I didn't really look at what I was doing. And somehow I've gotten myself twisted around because I got thinking, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, something's wrong because the words went from being on the leg, like, okay, so this is the right one. All right. So it goes down the right side of the leg. I see. And all of a sudden the words are now on the bottom of my foot. So I think because I never went back and I never looked at her pattern, but I'm guessing maybe I was supposed to reposition my start. I'm not sure. And I didn't notice it last month.
That looks okay.
You think? You think I can continue?
Well, first of all, the foot's going to be in your shoe.
Yes.
And it's not like you did it halfway through the leg of the sock. It's all on the foot.
Okay. So all of the words will be on the foot. So I'll have to get somebody, if I leave it, I'll have to get somebody like to take a picture with me laying like this so that my feet are up so that you can see the words. But maybe, okay, maybe. We'll see.
It would be different if it got switched like halfway through the leg. I'd probably change it. But if it was like that, I would probably leave it.
All right. I'll think about it. I'll try them on and I'll think about it. Because I got looking at it when I went to put it on the blocker.
And did you do both socks already doing that?
I haven't. I didn't. Okay. So I did the heel and this purple color in July. And the other one is still sitting here. So I haven't done anything on the other sock. So, but I would have to go all the way back and take out these two color bands and reposition. So you're right. I may not. And I don't plan to give these away, but I don't know if I can live with the mistake. It's clearly my mistake. It's just me not paying attention, which I think you're bound to happen when I only pick something up once a month. So, another Kelly, must be a Kelly thing. Kelly says that she did the same thing on one of the socks. So she cut it off and reattached it with a Kitchener. Okay. Well, that's very clever, Kelly. Okay. I'll think about it. I'll have to think about what I have to do. So Natalie says one repositions and one does not. So that's probably why the other one is in the right place, Natalie, the left one. Yeah. And that's all on me because I stopped reading the pattern. I just got excited about the charts and I'm like, okay, I know where I was. I use Knit Companion. I'll just pick it up and away I go again. So that's completely 100% on me. But that means the other one is going to be right. So if the other one's right, I might have to take these two bands out.
Well, not if you switch the other one around. You haven't done the other one yet. You could switch it around.
No, I have this one done. I have Joy. Joy is done. Yeah, because that was done for last month.
Yeah.
All I had to do for this month was this one. So, okay, I'll have to think about that. But they're beautiful. They are absolutely beautiful. Natalie, it's a gorgeous chart. And I equally love the words. Oops, making a mess here. I love the words as much as I love these little patterns too. And I've done this all in jewel tones.
Who's going to be down there looking at your feet, seeing what's on?
I don't know, but I have people in here saying that they would have had to do the same thing as me. It does not take that much time.
That's
honestly.
because anybody who wouldn't do it's just not typing anything in.
I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see by next month. That's a cliffhanger. Next month, we'll see what I did.
Yep.
But I also know me, and I also know I'm probably going to fix it, but we'll see. But anyway, they're really beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
Kelly says that she knitted hers inside out, so she didn't realize it until she turned them around. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just get caught up in it, right?
Yep.
And like I said, this is totally me because I only pick them up once a month to do that. So
yep.
Anyway. Okay.
So
all is well.
Okay. So I did finish a pair of socks. So I finished the speed bumps. I'm just going to find the
I'll go.
banner. Okay, find the banner. So I did finish these. So this is Speed Bumps by All Knit Up Designs. And there's the second one, just so proof that I did finish the pair of them. This is done in Timber Yarns Twin Sock Marl. This is the brown leaf colorway. And the heel is just a half skein that I got from Belfast Mini Mills when I was out there years ago, just to put in for the black. And the top, what I like to do, and I've said this before, is I like to start with the marl yarn, like the plain marl yarn, and then move into the stripe. So I do that by just cutting a length of the plain and tying it together with my solid, the color. And then, so you only get the very top of your cast on that's in that gray and black marl. Then when I'm doing stripe, these are actually relatively easy to do to match up because you're just starting your heel at the same place that you'd start your heel on the first one. They are dyed together so that the yarn is perfectly matched. So it's pretty easy to get matching pairs of sock. So this is pair number 5, even though I'm supposed to be already done pair number 7.
Yes.
But this is pair number 5. But luckily I'm going out east and that's lots of sock knitting time in the car. So hopefully I'll get caught up by the time the end of September comes around. But happy to have these done. These were ones that I did a different design and it was turning out too small and I had to rip it out and do it again. And I'm hoping the next pair I'm actually going to do using the green. I don't have it right here, but I'm just going to do socks on a plane. I've done it so many times. Hopefully I can't screw that one up. So
hopefully
that's what I will move on to next.
Before I leave this. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's it for finished objects for me.
Alice had asked how many colors are in here. So there are 5 color bands on the leg and 5 color bands on the foot. You could use 10 different colors. What I chose to do is I'm repeating here. So going down the foot will be the same 5 colors. So I will be ending with this color at my toes. And I also neglected to mention that I'm using all of the Knit Picks stroll yarn that I have, all of the colors, except for the cream, which is Marshmallow Sock Ease by Lion Brand and discontinued.
Yeah. And the pattern that this speed bump, it's actually a really nice pattern. And I think it would show up really nicely too in just a plain solid colored yarn, but it is a free pattern. So if anybody's interested in doing those, it just gives the pattern some nice texture. It is a lot of ribbing, but that's why I'm the one that's mostly stocking out for the next pair of socks. So, okay. So now we should move on to our whips.
Boy, that's a pretty short FO for you, isn't it?
It is. Well, you got to stop casting things on if you want to get anything finished. Okay. So how many do you have?
I don't know. I have a table full. So we're probably about equal this week.
Okay.
So I'll do one. Okay. So where shall I start? Okay, I'll start in this little bag. I cast on the Wilfreda sweater. And this started last week. I didn't cast it on until I cast this one on in the train, didn't I?
Yeah, you were doing the swatches before.
Right. So I swatched and I shared my swatches last week. And this is using the Leo and Roxy mohair in the colorway Wallpaper, which matches their actual wallpaper in their store in the Little Red Mitten. And this was a situation where I wanted to choose a solid light color to pair with this because I wanted the mohair to do the talking. And so I worked my way through a variety of colors from here down to here last week, and was looking for some help to decide. And then after the show, because I had seen a comment in there that Julia made, and strangely enough, Julia, when I bought this, I was thinking about pairing it with some gray Holst that I have, and I didn't even try that colorway. So I thought, well, what the heck? So that's the gray Holst that I have, and I think it's called Silver. I don't even know where it is now. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's still it's still at the winding station. So I think it's called Silver Linings. And so I swatched it up, also realizing that I did this whole swatch on the wrong needles, friends. So wrong size needles. I did it on the cast on needles instead of the body needles. So I decided to do one more swatch, and I did the swatch with the gray, and it turns out that's the one that I liked the most. So this is what I am doing. So I wound that up and I cast this on the train, and I should have put this on bigger needles so I could spread it out a little bit more, because I'm at the end of where I could get to on the weekend. And what I needed to do is now skein up my other mohair, because I want to alternate the mohairs through the body of the sweater, because I am finished the yoke. But this is I'll just make sure nothing pops off needles. This is the Wilfreda sweater so far, and I think it's beautiful. I hope everybody thinks it's beautiful. I love it. I love this beautiful cable pattern that's in it. It's sort of like a double reverse cable. It's upside down. Next week, I'll have it on bigger needles so everybody can see it, because I hope to have something more done on it. But it's light, it's fluffy. It's very similar to a ranunculus. And that pattern, I do have a banner for it too. Or I should show, I have a picture. This is what the sweater will look like finished. So it is very similar to the ranunculus. And
it's also similar shaping too, because it starts off with the round yoke and then you actually go into raglan increases.
Yes. And one of our pieces of homework, Noelle, we were going to ask a Norwegian person how to pronounce this name, because I think we're butchering it. Okay, so it's a Wilfreda, and maybe it's Wencha. I don't think it's wench. I feel like there's a second syllable there somewhere, and I think we're making a mistake with it. So
yeah, so if anybody knows,
to the designer.
Let us know so that hopefully by next week we can get it. But then if it was Vench, then it would have to be Vilfreda and not Wilfreda.
Well, it very well could be. We could be saying that wrong too.
You're right. So
okay, that's what it is.
So
shall I leave this banner up there?
Yes. So okay. I also cast on the Wilfreda, and I cast mine on in the Knitting Lofts Care, which Bruno was so kind to send to us. So I've got 2 skeins. I am alternating. I actually went through and finished, I'm gonna hold it up there so you can see, but I finished the yoke pattern. And then when I got into doing the raglan in the yoke, then I started alternating skeins just to be sure. And, even in black yarn, there can be a lot of variation between what the skeins look like. And I just don't want to get done and then think, oh, I should have. I'd rather do it and not have to worry about it. So I am going to it is going to be long sleeved. And I did put a picture in just so that you could maybe see what the yoke looks like a little better. It's hard with the black when you're holding it up. Let me just see here.
Is it? Oh, I'll put it. I see where you're looking.
Okay, so you can see the pattern like a little bit more. It's a really pretty pattern. It's kind of got that cable detail in the middle, and then it's just surrounded by, it's just like an easy slip stitch detail. Like, it is quite an easy pattern to do. The only frustrating thing was that you really do need to use a cable needle when you're doing it, because the cable that you do encompasses more than a few stitches, and you knit some of them from the cable needle, and then you knit
you move
from your
one
other needle,
over,
and then you knit from the cable needle. So you really needed to use a cable needle. And I'm so used to knitting now and not using a cable needle And this yarn is quite slippery, but there are only 2 rows in the whole pattern that have the cable.
Yes.
So
So don't
even
be
though
discouraged.
you have like that, there's only 2 rows in the whole thing. Okay, so Donna says it's pronounced Venka.
Venka. Okay, never would have gotten that. Thank
No.
you, Donna.
So,
Thank you.
and Linda, yes, it is hard. It is harder to see the black, but now that I'm just into the plain stocking stitch, it's easy. I do have an aught light over where I work at home, so I did have to put it away. I only got the first row of cable done at the meetup. I had to put it away because it was just too difficult to see. But it is not bad with the aught light watching it. But I'm going to be thrilled to have a black sweater, and like I said, this yarn just feels amazing. So I'm very happy with how that's going. Yeah, so I cast that on. I didn't cast it on in the train. I think I cast it on that night. Had to rip it out and cast it on again because I didn't like my cast on. So there was a lot of ripping out this weekend.
I pulled mine out too, remember? Because
Yep.
I cast on with a tubular cast on. And since I was doing twisted 1 by 1, I twisted the knit stitch in the setup, and I don't think I was supposed to. So that ended up with an awkward first row that I couldn't live with. So that came out and got redone. And I did that on the train. So I didn't get a whole lot done on the train. I got a lot of that done during the meetup. So the 6.5-hour train ride didn't feel like very long because I was looking at my project going, oh, this is all I did. So it must have only been a 2-hour train ride instead of a 6-hour train ride. But anyway, happy to have that done.
I definitely would recommend the sweater. It's like I'm pretty much doing it the same gauge as what I did my ranunculus in that yarn. So I really like how that feels in. And I think with the longer sleeves, it's going to give me a little bit more wearability. Like I think I'll wear it into the winter, and
yes,
I think it would look nice with like a collared shirt underneath it or over a dress. Or anyway, it's I might even knit a black cardigan. It hasn't been as bad as I thought knitting with the black. So
okay, and since we're talking about it, I might as well talk about my black care, which is tied up here in another sweater. So I was thinking about casting it on the train, and I didn't get there, but I did swatch. Look at this huge swatch.
huge
by my standards. So I got to a point that I really liked it. And then I was going to cast on, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because on one of our little shopping trips that we went to, so I am making a ranunculus with mine, and I'm excited that it's going to be in such a light fabric, because my intention is to be able to wear this ranunculus probably over a shirt. So long sleeves. But one of our trips to Elgin Knitworks, we're in the back room checking things out. And I'm glad I didn't cast it on, because I found this back there. One lone skein of this LRA Sequinicity, super sparkly, very, very beautiful, on a thin black cord. So here's my intention. In my ranunculus, just where the pattern is, I am going to add a little sparkle to it. I think that's going to look really pretty. And it will just take that sweater to another level just a little bit. It's not going to be an all over sparkle, but I'll have lots left over. I can probably still get a hat or something out of there. But I think that is really going to pick this up. It looks so much blacker than this, but it will be completely fine when it's knit together.
But when you put them together, it just kind of blends. So
yes. Yeah. So I am jumping back on the sparkle train, friends. Fall is coming. It's sparkle time. Time to sparkle. So yes, again, thank you very much, Bruna, for sending that to us. We are definitely enjoying playing with that yarn. Absolutely.
So I'm hoping to have mine done by next week. We'll see. We'll see. Unless I cast something else on. Okay, so I am also still working on, when we're talking about the care, I'm also still working on my pressed flowers. So I have gotten further. So there's more rows of the flowers in it. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is like, I am on like I think a 3.5 or a 3.25 needle. So it is a little bit slow going, but the pattern, I have the pattern memorized. So it's easy. It's easy to do. I just kind of have to manage my yarn and kind of keep them separate. So the colors that I'm using, the base color is Southlander Sport by Skeins. It was yarn that I got when I was in New Zealand. It's 100% New Zealand wool. The color is called Dusky Heather. And then all my flowers are the Knitting Loft's Care, and the color is called Frosted Sprinkles. So it's, you can see that there's a little bit of aqua, some yellow, some pink, some white, and I love how that color sets it off. And this is not necessarily the color that it's not necessarily the color of background that I would have thought to put with that, but it's amazing sometimes when you just put things together. Just like I just needed something to kind of be in the background and let the colors in the yarn show. So I'm really enjoying that, and
Well,
looking forward to getting
I
further
really
on it.
like the way it's looking too, though, like, because your sport yarn is dare I say, slightly rustic, but the
No,
care
it's
yarn
perfect.
has that beautiful shiny sheen to it
I
from
know.
the
So it's a
silk.
really nice
So
combination.
yes, it's gorgeous, and so they really, really show off the benefits of each
Yeah.
other's yarn together. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. And I
And I
think
have to
it's
say too, the care is not a yarn that I would ever think to do color work with, and it obviously works amazingly.
yeah. Yeah, I really like how it's looking. I do think it really pops, and it's even though it's only a fingering weight yarn, because it's kind of got that halo of the
Mhm.
mohair in it, it just fills in and it works
Fills in
fine with
everything.
that.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. It's a much
So,
more, oh, I don't know what the word is, but when we first saw the care in Montreal, or, a yarn with that base in
similar to it.
Montreal,
Yeah.
um, I couldn't think of a whole lot of things to do with it. I grabbed it for the rocket tee, and you grabbed some. We loved it. We were pulled to it. But it's amazing to see how many things you can actually work that into,
Yep.
maybe that you wouldn't necessarily think of when you look at that yarn. Yeah.
Yep. I still think I'm going to the amount that I've got left over from my night bloom. No, what's it called? Alpine Bloom. I think I'm
Alpine
going to do a
bloom.
Sophie scarf. I think it's going to do a beautiful Sophie scarf.
I think so too. Yeah. And then you have a little
So,
something.
yep. And someone had asked which pressed flowers. It's a pressed flowers cardigan, which has a lighter gauge than the pressed flowers pullover. I
Yes.
think the pressed flowers pullover is more of a DK, and the pressed flowers cardigan is more of a sport weight. So,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
So what else are you working on?
I am also working on cast this on at the mini meetup. This is the Salty Air Tea, and I
I'll
do
look
have
for
a
it.
banner. So I cast this on using my linen quill, which I apologize in advance for this color. It is not nearly this color. If I hold it closer to me, it's more like of a turmeric yellow,
Yeah. I think
which
that was the
might
name of
actually
it.
be the name of
I
it. It
think that's
might
the
be
name of it.
turmeric. Okay. So this is what I got done. I cast this one on. Did I cast this on the train coming home? Didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the long train ride on the way home.
Right. And I just dropped a stitch. Hold tight.
You get your
Hold.
stitch. I'll tell them about the train ride. Okay, you guys, we actually braked on the train, had to stop because the train almost hit someone.
A
So
near
then we
miss.
had to
A near
wait.
miss.
They called it a near miss. We had to wait for EMS to come, for the police to come.
To do a
And
full brake check of the entire train before we could
we
start
did, and then
again.
we had the one of the train personnel was up and down and told us, "Oh, it shouldn't be too bad. We didn't actually hit them, so we'll be okay." They said if anything ever happened where they actually hit someone, it'd be like 4 hours before you
Many
would
hours. Yes.
to do anything. So anyway, so yeah, so that was a slight delay. Luckily, we're knitters. We had lots of knitting. We probably could have cast on 10 more projects, so we were okay.
So hence the late arrival home, but all was good.
Yeah.
Everything was good. So this is where I'm at with my Salty Air Tea. I should have put this on bigger needles to show off too, because I'm well down into the lace now and I am loving it.
It's
I will
pretty.
admit there was a finicky cast on. Isabel cast on the same sweater and she was cursing the cast on. It is a alternating cable cast
Alternating
on.
cable cast on. Yep.
And I just made the executive decision after watching Isabel struggle with it that me being on a train that was already held up didn't need to make things any slower. And I just cast it on using my regular twisted German cast on. And I'm completely fine with that, to be completely honest. But it is beautiful. I love the way the pattern is
Yeah, it's
knitting into
gorgeous.
there. It's really pretty. And this This one is going to be a crop, so it shouldn't take me that long to do it. Although once I went from the Wilfreda on the bigger needles with the mohair and a big plush sweater down to this one, this did seem like it takes a lot longer to get around a row, but I'm really happy with it. I love this color. And this was yarn that was gifted to me to make a half and half wrap by Noelle. And after holding on to it for a year and a half, I realized the half and half wrap is not going to happen. And the linen quill is one of the yarns that a lot of people are making the salty air tea. We saw quite a few salty air teas this weekend, all beautiful. Yep. And I just said, yep, that's it. It's going on needles. So that was another cast on this weekend.
Barb says that she was glad no one was hit, and so were we. That would have been devastating.
Oh, well,
that would
absolutely.
That would not have been a good end to the trip. But anyway, a little 45-minute delay, and then another 15-minute delay later on. And then a 10-minute delay waiting for that freight train to cross the track when we got out of there. But anyway, we made it home. So
oh, and okay, Heather says she has only 2 rows. Heather has only 2 rows to go, and her salty air is done. Yay. Wow. You should be able to finish it tonight while we're chatting. Oh, okay, stitch marker. So, wonder where that came from.
I did get a little bit further on my field sweater. And then the one social media thing that we did see this week was all the controversy about the field sweater. And the fact that the pattern is not size inclusive. And it's really disappointing in the fact that she didn't address it. Like, comments were made. She didn't reply to, well, you know, she didn't reply in general to anybody. I think she deleted the comments. And that's a little disappointing when you get a designer that's as high profile as what she is. Like, you know, maybe there was a reason she didn't go up to certain sizes, but she didn't go into anything. She just completely blanked everything and didn't, you know, didn't respond to anybody. And even having said that, there was also a lot of questions regarding how to do the grain and how, and none of that was addressed either. So that is a little bit disappointing. I mean, I'm already done this much in the sweater. The yarn is gorgeous. I am definitely going to finish the sweater, but I don't know. It's just, you know, like, you can't be in a business where you are providing things for the public and then not respond to them.
Absolutely.
So that was definitely a little bit disappointing. But the yarn that I'm using for this, and it's all wrinkled, because I had it done, and I had it done to the point where I am under the arms, but I did not do a stitch on this. I brought it with me, but I did not knit a stitch on it. So I had actually done a little bit more on it after we podcast last week, until we got on the train, and I brought it with me, but it didn't ever get any work. But the yarn, I can't say enough about this yarn. This is the Roots and Rain Trillium sock. I am knitting it at a 22 stitch gauge, and it's working up beautifully. The yarn is naturally dyed with Eastern Brazil wood, chestnut, and something else. Donna's in here. Maybe she knows. But anyway, the color's absolutely gorgeous. It's like I don't know, a corally, beautiful. Anyway, so now that I am down past the yoke, again, I have got 2 skeins of it, and I am now alternating, because I want to make sure. I mean, when you look at them, they look matched perfectly, but I've done that before with yarns that I thought were matched perfectly and ended up with a line, and I do not want to have a line across the sweater.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
And this is definitely a woolier wool. So I am going to not be wearing this until a little bit later. So some of my other knits have taken precedence. So
yes.
This and the yarn is a blend of 70%. I think we talked about this last week. 70% Rideau Arnott. Yes, because Arcot, Animal Research Center of Ottawa. That's right. Okay, so, and 30% nylon. So you actually could do socks with this, and I think you are doing socks with it right now.
I am. I'm doing the Unity socks. Yes.
So,
yes.
Anyway. Donna says she forgot what we used. Well, I know it was Eastern Brazil wood. I know it was chestnut, but there was onion skin, red onion skin.
Yes. Yes.
So, but it's an absolutely beautiful color.
hopefully all is okay with you, Donna. I know that a storm went through and you had posted
In
that you had
Ottawa,
a fair
yeah.
bit of damage and that you were without hydro, but you're in here tonight, so you must have some hydro back, and that's good to hear. And I hope everything worked out okay for you, that your garden wasn't too badly damaged, because I know that your garden is where a lot of your dye stock comes from. And hopefully everything is all good and everybody is safe where you are. So
yeah. Oh, she said she was just typing that when I remembered red onion skin. So
okay.
it's actually, you know, really, when you think of it, it's actually amazing the colors that you can actually get from natural dyes. Like, they're gorgeous, and they inherently look different than commercial dyes. Like, they
Absolutely.
just have just like look have this like organic kind of make me think of fall. So anyway, I am looking forward to finishing that. I love the yarn, and I've got my other sweater done in the Storm DK, and it's gorgeous too, but just waiting for cooler weather to wear it. And I'm not rushing the cooler weather, because I know we have winter for long enough.
We do. We have it for plenty long enough. So, okay. I have another item that I cast on this weekend, and this was an unexpected cast on, completely cast on,
Funny
because I saw it in a store, and it's resting in my gifted Chicago bag from Irene. And this I purchased at Elgin Knitworks, and it's just a little summer shawlette, and it is made in the clatter clatter of the needles, the Barocco Summer Sesame. And I look at these gorgeous colors.
It is.
It's just like my perfect summer little shawl. And this is a cotton, 47% cotton, 44% acrylic, and 9% nylon. It's very, very soft. It will get even softer once I wash it. And the shawl that I'm making is, I thought I made a banner.
I thought you did. And
oh, I did.
You talk.
Is Fractal Danger by Martina Bem. And at its widest point, it says that this is only 6 inches wide. So think of this as kind of that like little thing that you can throw around your neck with the linen dresses and whatnot. And I'll just show you. I'm mostly done the first part. I'm about halfway through the ball, or maybe not quite half, but this is what I have done so far. And it almost kind of reminds me like of something that's been crocheted, but it isn't. It's knit.
It's pretty.
And it's just really just like a beautiful blend of those like summer faded colors, beachy summer colors. And as I said, this is just something 100% I saw in the store, and I thought, oh, that's just a cute little one skein shawl. I'm going to do that. So maybe I'll have this one done by next week too. I haven't worked on it at all since I've been back. This was a lot of train knitting too. And I think I cast this on at the retreat the day I bought it, just to have something different to work on. Okay.
So
do you have anything else?
Yes, I do. So that
we're going to run into overtime, and we still have a giveaway to do. So yeah,
that's right. So, okay. Well, let's talk about that. Do you have any more whips after this?
Yep.
other than, like, how many?
One more.
Okay. Is that the Florencia?
No, it's not yet.
Okay. I'll talk about this. You talk about that. Then we should set up the giveaway while we talk about the cows. Okay. So anyway, I also was inspired at the meetup. Joyce and Angie and Irene from the 3-Ply podcast were all wearing Look at My Holes by James N. Watts. Okay. So I didn't have any yarn with me to start it, but I was able to find some. So I did start it.
Imagine that.
I started it. Imagine that. I started it on Saturday night. And this thing, okay, here's my sweater. So this thing, I ripped back. I did the neckband. I ripped back the first 8 rows 4 times.
Oh, 4 times. I was going to say 3 times.
4 times. No, because I had to do it again the next morning. So I did 3 times on Saturday night. Yeah, Saturday night, 3 times on Saturday night. And I knew it wasn't right, but I thought, obviously I'm way too tired to get anywhere with this right now. So I'm just going to have to wait. So the next morning, I was going to go work out, because I did work out one in the morning, and I couldn't, because all I could think about was that it was wrong. It was just wrong. So I had to fix it. So I went down for coffee at 6:30 in the morning with this.
Can we just say you're the same woman that told me to leave the sock and carry on?
This was unfixable. Anyways, so I fixed it. And then once I got going on the pattern, I was fine. And I am absolutely loving it. This is done in, here's my big ball. This is Noro Kakagori. And Noro Kakagori is a...
Which Isabel is reminding you was 40% off at Elgin. It was on sale. Oh, that one wasn't?
No, okay. This one was regular.
So Isabel got the Noro that was on sale.
Yes. No, the Kakagori is 50% cotton, 30% silk, 10% viscose, and 10% polyamide. So it really does feel nice. And so I am doing mine at a little bit tighter gauge than the pattern because I didn't want my holes to be quite so big. Yeah, so I'm actually almost, I think it's going to be relatively short. So I'm actually almost at the point where I'm going to do the rib, and I think I'll do the sleeves just to come here. And I think it'll look great over a dress or over a white tank top. The Kakagori, this color has a bunch of different pops of other colors in it, like white and yellow and green. And this was a 200 gram ball. Oh, shaved ice with syrup. It does kind of look like that.
Yep. That's
anyways, this was a 200 gram ball. It's a DK weight yarn. It feels amazing, and I'm very happy with this. It's really soft too. It's bringing me joy.
Sweater. It's bringing you joy. Well, so, it's bringing you joy now. It wasn't bringing you
joy now.
It brought me 3 times you knit it.
That's right. But now the pattern's down. I actually did get yarn to do another one, but I know the second one will go a lot easier because I've got the pattern down. So
yeah.
Okay. So what do you have?
The last thing I cast on, did this on the train too. My second sock, just to show you that I have my second sock on the needles, working on the DRK everyday sock using the Timber Yarns pink. Why can't I remember the name of this yarn? Is it Pink Pop? No.
Pretty Pink.
Pretty Pink. Easy enough. Okay. Why can't I remember it? But anyway, this is sock number 2. The first one was done last week. So there's my, my last cast on that I have to show. These are Christmas gifts. So
okay, so while we were in Chicago, our friend Queen Sandy was there, and she brought us some more bags to give away. So we are actually going to do a giveaway on here for a bag, and then we'll also do one for any of our viewers that watch after, that will announce the winner for that on next week's show. But we just, like we had such a great time, met so many new friends that we just want to share the love and
share the Chicago love.
Sandy's bags are so nice, and both Kelly and I took our Montreal bag with us because it just holds
thank goodness we
everything.
Did.
No kidding. Yes. So yeah, so we want to share with you. So Kelly's got the bag there; she'll show you, and we're going to do a giveaway for that.
Yeah. And there's a couple of options. So whoever wins on the show will get to choose which bag they like. And then the winner that we leave running for the week will get the alternate choice. But they're both so darn cute.
They're both gorgeous. Yeah.
This pattern I really, really like. I love, look at these sweet little sheep, tumbling sheep. And she logos the Knits and Pieces on the front pocket. These are really nicely done because they have like a vinyl bottom. So if you're setting your bag down
somewhere, like under the bridge,
like under the bridge on the grass,
or a cafe shop floor.
Poop. Yes, where there might be goose poop. And then there's also a zippered pocket inside. Mm-hmm. So this is pattern option 1. Again, the bags are beautifully, beautifully made, and they're super strong. She reinforces all of these handles, and they carry a boatload of stuff, friends, a boatload. And then this is the second one, which I really love. Popping up brighter again on camera. The yellow. I have a new light for down here, and I keep saying
it's like a mustardy yellow.
No, it really isn't. It's more like sort of like a lemon ice yellow. It's really, really beautiful.
Well, it's looking more mustard on the screen.
It is, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
Okay.
It's think of like a bright buttercup yellow, but it's really pretty with this gray. It's a beautiful paisley, and then the inside of the bag is coordinating smaller paisley.
Gorgeous.
So very, very beautiful. Okay, so I'll pop this in. What you want to do is type in #friends, and we will let that run in the background a little bit. I'll wait till some of those start coming in.
Yeah,
I
then
might
we'll take it
do,
down and but you can continue to type it in.
yes.
So, and let's see, for anybody else that watches after, I guess, what should we have them put in the comment? Where's your favorite place to go to knit with your friends?
Sure.
So you don't have to put in #friends. You just let us know where you like to go to knit with your friends. And that can also mean just knitting at home, watching your friends on a podcast.
Absolutely.
So
don't know if I can. Yeah, I can. Okay, so I'm going to have
Yep.
that running in the side because I will show the banner. So just type in #friends and we'll let that percolate for a while. But I also want to introduce a new co-host in the studio.
Okay.
He flew in today from California. Very esteemed little guest. He's going to live here in the studio with us. And this is Puddles. Puddles is the mascot for Streamyard. So this is the advertising portion of our program. But anyway, he arrived today. He's got his little Streamyard headset on. I see maybe if we can convince Noelle to make him a little sweater because we have cold winters here. Yeah.
Yep.
And so anyway, this Streamyard is the platform that we use each week for our podcast. And they have very generously agreed for a second year to sponsor our podcast. And keep things so smoothly running along.
Yeah, it is actually for anybody that's thinking about like using a streaming company. It is actually very we're getting to know more and more of the program and able to do more and more things with it. But it's really nice to do a live and be able to go in ahead of time and set some things up, like some photos, banners, and to do the live giveaways. So we're really appreciative of the fact that they do sponsor our podcast.
Absolutely. And there is a link as well that we keep in our show notes. Every week you can go in there and it will take you directly to Streamyard. And there's a little sponsor code in there for you too. If you're interested, if you're a podcaster, there's other uses. It isn't just for podcasting. It's also a way to have live meetings with other people. And it's extremely user-friendly. It's very, very reliable. And we're very happy. So we're going to be introducing Puddles to Pearl, our possum.
Yes.
And I think he's a little big for our cork raft, but anyway, he's going to hang.
I don't want to see Pearl in Puddle's mouth.
No, I think she will tune him into what the Canadians are all about. But anyway, so we're happy to have him, and he's going to live here in the studio with us.
Okay.
Okay.
So while it's running, we're going to talk about our next whip, which is part of our Florencia Cal.
Yes.
So our Florencia Cal is a Cal that we're doing in conjunction with Unit Toronto. They are running a Cal for the specific pattern, the Florencia. We do have some pictures of the Florencia, and we do have a banner. Okay, let me see if I can find. Okay, so this is the back of it's a little short sleeve t-shirt, but it's got a nice lace pattern through it. So here are just a couple of different views of it. So Kelly and I are both doing this pullover. It's called the Florencia. It's just called the Florencia, but it's basically like a little tee. So Unit Toronto sent us some yarn in order to do this. And we are also holding a Cal at the same time, but ours is going to go longer, and we are going to include all of the other unit patterns as well. So if the Florencia doesn't strike your fancy, there are a lot of other beautiful patterns by Claudia Quintanello, who designs the patterns for unit, and you can pick any one of those.
And her patterns are lovely. I've knit at least one of her sweaters, and I think, and also I've knit some of my favorite hand warmers are by her as well. So the patterns are really lovely. And I'm looking forward to making this one. So you've got yours started.
I do.
Okay.
I'll pull it up here. So I am doing mine in Amelia and Philomene. Philomene, and what was the name of it? Madame Philippon.
Yes.
And my color is called sage blanc. I think it means like white sage, but my French pronunciation is not amazing. So
That's
I do
looking really
have
good.
a few rounds done. I am doing it on a 3.25 millimeter needle. It is bottom up. You do start with the rib, but I just did a provisional cast on because if mine isn't turning out, depending on the length when I get to the armholes, I will decide how long I want my rib to be. So I want to do it this way first, finish the yoke, try it on, and then decide what I'm going to do as far as the length of the rib. Plus, because I really like the tubular cast on, but for 200 and something stitches, it's a little bit daunting to do it. So I would rather go down and I would rather do a tubular cast off. So I know I will like the finish of that. And the pattern is actually quite intuitive once you get into it. If it's your first time working lace, it's a really easy chart pattern. It's only 11 stitches and I believe 22 rows. You've got like 2 rows of the triangle. So if it's your first time doing a chart, it's very easy way to get introduced to it. I am alternating skeins again. And because this is a pattern in it, it's a little bit more difficult to do helical. But what I am doing is changing my yarns right at these triangles where you do a yarn over. So it kind of just blends in with the yarn over. So it'll keep moving across as I do the triangles. And that's kind of a good way to seamlessly kind of blend in where you start the other color without having a line. So Kelly's also doing this.
I'm swatched. I haven't cast on. I swatched late in the week and I was concerned that that might be something that needed a little bit more of my attention. It's a bottom up sweater too, which is not my go-to sweater, but I will show you the color. Mine is the colorway called Rita, and it's the same yarn. It's the Amelia and Philomene, but it's like it's a very muted blue gray. Like it's supposed to be a gray, but I see a lot of blue in there, and it's absolutely beautiful. This yarn feels amazing.
It feels, and it's amazing to knit with. It feels amazing to knit with. Yeah. So this cal is also going on along with you knit. There's also some other co-hosts. There's Olga from Gotham Knits and Johanna from Time Off Tejidos, and she's in Chile. So it's kind of nice that the cal's kind of international. And if you go, I have in Ravelry, I have set up the Knit Along in our group, and in that I have linked Unit's group. And if you go in and you read all the information on their Ravelry page, there's description of their prizes. I think they're going to have like $300 gift cards for the store. You also can go in, there's a code in there that you can go in and you can purchase your yarn to do it, like in the Amelia and Philomene, and I believe they have some other yarn choices as well for a percentage off. You can also use this coupon code FLOOR to get 50% off the pattern. But the Ravelry group is set up. There's both a finished object thread and a chatter thread. For units knit along, it's specifically the Florencia, and it ends on August the 31st. For ours, we are going to September 30th because we know a sweater is, especially if you do a sweater, is a big undertaking. We are going to go to September 30th, and you can also choose from any of the unit patterns. However, if you do the Florencia, then you get 2 entries in our cal. Okay. And if you happen to do the Florencia and you get it done by August 31st, then you can enter them in both cals.
Absolutely.
So.
Yep. Okay.
And those groups are set up both for chatter. So if you want or have any questions, like pop on in there and the information is in there. Okay.
Okay. So we have 200 and some odd entries. I'm going to go ahead and do this now, and let's see who the lucky winner is tonight. Lots of entries. Amy Haas. Yay. Congratulations, Amy.
Congratulations, Amy. So if you're still in here, let us know which bag you would like, either the blue one with the sheep or the yellow one. So, and we will set that one aside for you. And for anybody else who didn't win one, make sure you go in after when the video's up and type in a comment and let us know, whether you like to go to the coffee shop with your knitting friends, or whether you like to knit with your friends on a podcast while you're watching them, or whether you Zoom with friends, or you know, just something with friends in it. So, and we will be happy to draw that prize. We will not draw it until right before the podcast next week.
Yes.
So,
and while you're in there entering that in the comments below after the show is over, don't forget, please give a thumbs up if you enjoyed yourself tonight. And that would be fantastic.
Okay. Amy would like the yellow one.
Amy would like the yellow one. Okay. Amy,
and
it's
Amy,
yours.
You can send your information to us at that Knits and Pieces that we showed earlier. Maybe Kelly, you can pop it up again.
Yeah.
It's the Knits and Pieces Knits and Pieces podcast at gmail.com. And we need your full name and your mailing address. So, and we will be happy to pop that in the mail for you. So.
Absolutely. And if you have anything else that you want to reach out to us about, anybody, not just Amy, if you have questions or anything, this is the best place to reach out to us, because it's the one spot that we most regularly check. And it's easier, honestly, easier for us.
It's easier for us.
Everything is coming into one direction. Yes. Okay. So what do we have? We have some goodies to show you that we bought. So hopefully we are going to be running late, officially running late. We are at 1 hour and 16 now, but I don't want to not show you because we really got some beautiful yarns.
Okay. So just before we do that, I just want to say that we do have our other knit-alongs going on. They are all in our Ravelry group. None of them are due by the end of before we see you next week. So we'll go into them a little bit in more detail next week. But get your socks in there, get your Smash That Stash projects in there, and get your Marie Wallen or Susan Crawford in there. Okay. So, Kelly, did you buy anything?
Yes, absolutely. I did. Okay.
Well, we've already showed some of the stuff that we've already cast on.
Yes. So that's out of the way. But okay. So we went, as soon as we get off the train, you know, most people might think, oh, maybe we would go and get a bite to eat, or maybe we would go grab a beverage or something. Oh no, we went straight to the yarn store. Irene was so kind to take us there. And we went to Elgin Knitworks, which is an absolutely adorable store. And it is owned by Betsy, and helping her is her mom, Linda.
Yep.
Yes, Linda. And she has a lovely store, an absolutely lovely store. And last year when we were there, so this is one of the things that we specifically said that we would go back for. We bought the Cicero yarn there last year that I used for my cravat and that you used for the sweater that you're wearing.
Yep.
And we both said, okay, we know we've got a lot of yarn purchasing coming up, so we are going to be cautious in our purchasing.
I'm pretty sure I said that's all I was going to buy.
Yes. And so we said that if we go back, we're going to look for more Cicero. So we get back, and happy surprise for us, it wasn't a big seller in her store. So we found it in the 40% off. And so we ended up, I got a cardigan quantity of it this time because, well, you know, if it's 40% off, that's nearly free, as I learned this weekend, along with some other new knitting lingo. But anyway, so I got the colorway Hollyhock, which happens to be the color that is Noelle is wearing in her sweater, and she got the Wales Road, which happens to be the color that I knit my cravat in.
So I have 3 of these, so I'll be able to do a cardigan with 3 of them. So that's my plans for that, is a nice drapey cardigan. But then I also got, there was 2 skeins of this beautiful green. This is called Aguas. Aguas. I think that means water. That's agua. Anyway, this is the color, and it's gorgeous. So that's going to be, I've found a couple of tops. Like, it'll be a top similar to this, like a different design, but something similar to that. So again, we love this yarn. It's easy care. Glad to knit something else with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
For those of you that are typing in #friends, hang tight. It has to be after the show is over, and then you would go in as if you were leaving a comment, and then you type the hash. Just let us know where it is that you like to knit, and we will draw that next week before the next show. Okay. All right.
Okay. What else did you get?
What else did I get? Okay, so we got also there. This is a yarn that I know Julia has used, and I've only seen it online. I've never had an opportunity to get my hands on it. So it was really nice to be able to see it in the store. So this is yarn that's, in my opinion, it seems very similar to the Spin Cycle Dyed in the Wool. and it's the Hero yarn, Yarn Hero Fiber Arts. And this is a sport weight. And I got 2 colors in it. And the first colorway I got is Roundabout, which is a beautiful, like there's lots of jewel tones in there, but also like kind of some rusty tones. And I'm thinking that this will be beautiful in the yoke of absolutely any sweater. And then the second colorway that I got is called Campsite, and it's greens. And they're like aqua greens too. It's really beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful yarn. And you got some as well.
I did. So there's my first color. This is called Blossom. It's very pretty pinks and taupes and whites. And then my other color is called Tabby Cat. So it's
I
kind
love
of like
that one.
corals and camels and just gorgeous. Anyways, with the yardage that's in here, so it is a sport weight, there's 330 yards. So there in one skein is pretty much enough to do any yoke of a sport weight sweater. So to do a colorwork sweater and use one of the skeins for the yoke in it. So again, that was the first time I'd ever seen that yarn in person.
Yes, and it feels really lovely. And
it does.
As Noelle just said, they are bigger skeins than the
and it's non-superwash. I didn't know that before, because Spin Cycle is actually superwash, but it's non-superwash. It's merino wool non-superwash.
Okay.
So perfect.
Excited to try this. Really excited to try this. And then I also got, I found this. I've not knit with this before. This is called, well, it is covered up by the label. Gina. The yarn is called Gina, and it's by the Plymouth Yarn Company. And I don't know that this actually has a colorway. I think it's one of those color numbers. It's made in Turkey. It's 100% wool. And there's 109 yards in a 50-gram ball. So it's a very slow change gradient. But again, loving these colors. Look at those colors. And I was sort of thinking that this, well, maybe it might not be enough now that I'm thinking about it. I was thinking about the Calypso sweater, but actually at 209 yards, that would be tight, wouldn't it?
Yep.
That's a little bit tight. Okay. So not the Calypso, but something like this would be fantastic in the Calypso.
Yes.
Right?
Yep, for sure. Because that's Joyce actually did get some of that to do a Calypso.
Oh, did she?
Of the Hero, yeah.
Had I grabbed one more of these, this was really reasonable too. Had I grabbed one more, it would have been perfect to do the Calypso because I really like the bold colors, but this will end up being the yoke in something else. It's really pretty. Okay. Okay,
so then this was another yarn that was 40% off. So this is Kelborn Woolens Mojave, and I don't see a color name on it. Oh, yes, I do. It's plum brown. So this is plum brown. So you can see it's kind of like a muted purple. And this is actually the recommended yarn for the Look at My Holes. So that's going to be another Look at My Holes. So this composition is, I know it's linen and cotton. It's 60% cotton, 40% linen. So this one will be a much more muted version of the Look at My Holes than my first one. So
yes.
And like I said, it was on sale for 40% off, so practically free.
Practically free, yes. Or Canadian priced.
Okay. Did you get anything else?
No, I didn't get anything else. You got more.
Okay, I did. So this is Aracunia. And this is, I can't pronounce this, Hawaso cotton. So it's 100% cotton. So this one is I had pulled this one out, and it's like grays and pinks, and they had this really cute little shawl done in it called Sweet Little Nothings, and it just had some little beads around the edges. It was done
which
in this
Irene actually knit. Yes, and Irene
did she knit that one?
I think she did.
That one that was in there?
I think that's what Betsy said.
It was gorgeous. So that, I believe, is what I'm going to do with that, because I think it'll be a perfect little summer shawl just to throw on with even like a white t-shirt. And then this color, I just couldn't resist. So I got two skeins of this color, and this color is called Potosi. anyway, so this is kind of like, it looks like a creamsicle sort of.
It does.
And anyway, so I was looking through because Joyce from 3Ply also got 2 skeins of this, and we're gonna do a make along, but not till later. So I was kind of looking through, and one of the sorrel shirts is done in this, and it looks amazing. So the sorrel is the one that's got like dip stitches around here and then just goes into a plain body. And they had it done in this with 2 skeins, and it looked really nice. So I'm thinking that's what this might become. So, so that was enough.
Yeah.
That was good.
Well, that was 2 trips to the store for me, 3 trips to the store for you. Yes. We did our damage. We did our damage. We did. Oh, I also got, I won't show it, but I added to my needle set.
Yes.
Betsy's actually one of the only suppliers of a store that I've been in, and I have the Mindful knitting is my needle set, the turquoise needle set. And I bought some extra tips from her last year, and she stocks a really good supply. So I was able to get, I think 3 more sets of tips to kind of double up my needles, because as you know, I like to cast a few things on at the same time. And I actually picked up a bunch more, or I think 3 more cables as well to round out the set. So that's not something that I find frequently. I just see that mostly being sold in the sets. So it was really nice to be able to stock up and kind of round out my kit.
Yeah. Julia said no condiments. Well, you know, Julia, sometimes you just have to get the basics first.
And that's what the mini meetup was called this year. It was called Back to Basics.
Back to Basics. That's right.
Yeah. So we were on a theme. Yeah, absolutely.
But we did. We had a wonderful time. Saw lots of people that we saw last year, met lots of wonderful
new friends,
new people, new friends. And honestly, the kindness and the generosity of everybody is just overwhelming. Like, you know, if somebody needed a ride somewhere or needed to go to a yarn store, like someone was there. If you know, like, I don't know, it just was wonderful. And again, we came home again this year with our hearts full, and we were tired, but
well, we are a year older.
When the train doesn't leave till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's a long train ride, but all well worth it. Do it again in a heartbeat. So.
Nikki is just asking a question about the Mindful set. Do I like it? Yes, I really do like it. So I have the little red set and the blue set of the Chow Goose, and I do like those for like knitting small circumference projects. But I didn't have a large set of the Chow Goo, and I went back and forth, like, should I get that or should I get this Mindful set? And in the end, I went with the Mindful set because I already have a lot of the cords for Knitter's Pride, and they are interchangeable. They aren't I don't have, you know, all of the blue turquoise cords, but any of them are interchangeable and will fit. So I was happy about that. The one thing I really like, and it actually came in handy on the train, is that the cords for the Mindful set have these little demarcations on them 1 inch apart. So when you're knitting, you can measure your knitting. And I was able to measure to see if I was far enough into a pattern to move on to the next step, because I didn't have a measuring device with me. So they're really beautiful. And I mean, everybody ends up with preferences of what they like to work with. And like I said, I do work with the Chow Goose, but I'm really, really happy with my Mindful knitting set. So
and I have a set of them, and I do like it, but I still prefer the Chow Goose. And a lot of it has to do with the way that you knit.
Yes.
So, and again, that's personal preference. So if you are thinking of getting a set, it's oftentimes a good idea to buy a single needle of the kind that you're looking at and make sure that you like it. Yes. Once you've got a whole set, you know, you want to be positive that you like it. And I do like both, but my preference is still the Chow Goose, just because the tip is pointier. So,
and that's what I like about the Mindful, is that they aren't quite as pointy as the Chow Goose. Although once you get it, you know, once I'm into the larger sizes, honestly, the Chow Goose are not too pointy for me, but on small circumference, they're a little tight. And
but everybody likes a little different in what they actually like to work with. But as far as like the cords and the joins and everything with the what's it called again? Which one? I know I have it. What was the one that you got? What's the name of it? I know. The Mindful, like all the joins and the cords and everything there, that's all fine. That's wonderful. The only difference to me is just the tips.
Yes. So you just And I like to have an assortment of things too, because I still, even though I have all of those kits, there are still times that I want to knit on a wooden needle. And I have all of my interchangeable wooden sets as well. So I don't have any like full sets, but I have mostly their Knitters Pro. So, and Wendy was asking if there were any other Canadians that came. Is that what you were going to say?
Yes, Isabel.
Isabel came from Montreal. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we got to know Isabel even better and love her. Hard to let her go.
Yeah. Irene, I think, answered her. Okay. But what I was talking about is someone asked about the cables, the swivel or both. And this, if you buy the set, it comes with both.
Yes. It came with 4 cords. Yeah. 2 of them are fixed and 2 of them are swivel. But the cords that I bought this past weekend are all swivel. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I think it's time to go. We are at an hour and 30 minutes, friends. My goodness, this is a marathon.
Hour and 30 minutes to put all this stuff
to clean it all up. I know. Well, Isabel, she put us to shame. When she went out and did her purchases, she came back. She went upstairs to the room. She was cataloging her stash into Ravelry before she even came downstairs. So she put us all to shame. Yeah. I'm bowing to that level of organization.
I'm just going to knit mine also. I'm just going to knit it also. I don't have to put it in stash.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much, friends, for hanging out with us for this extended time.
Thanks for listening to our long-winded,
very long-winded
ramblings.
Yes. Yes. Well, there was a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Anyway, have an amazing week. And we will see you all next week. Happy knitting.
Happy knitting.